And maybe it was one of those optical illusions, Danya, where you just see something, it looks really good, and then whatever you thought was there is a mirage, disappeared.
Yes, and Hikaru reverting back to his stalwart vintage blitz opening, the knight f3 b3 Zukertort stuff. I don't know how to call it. Zukertort, is that the
Me either. Zukertort's when you say Zukertort, like, come on, let's be clear. That makes you sound so knowledgeable. I'm not going to argue. I played the Zukertort. Oh yeah,
that's right.
That's
the Kali Zukertort Makhagana Banderevsky system, you know.
Yeah, right up there with you, buddy.
I played and it's operable,
and now it's transposed to Queen's Gambit exception. Right. Very even.
He doesn't want the queen making X-ray contact with the a5, stopping 4-5. Obviously, for the 8-1-3-5. I think it's equal. I think Fedoseev is probably prepare this type of stuff.
I think he will be very satisfied. Again, pawn on a3 makes very desirable awkward because you just drop the pawn on a3. Now, queen b1, does that set up b5, b3, b4 tactics?
Yeah, I mean, well, e4, everything has to be monitored by Fedoseev.
Right. But that's the point you were making too. With the bishop on d3, there's more monitoring to be done.
Right. Okay, rook ac8. So both sides
complete
improving their
development.
Position. This is when it's maybe time to play h3 or just, okay, a4.
I'm trying to remember, but it was a Gibraltar tournament, and I think it was Hu Yifan, and she was playing against, oh boy, the Ukrainian grandmaster, Vasil Ivanchuk. And we were all wondering, you know, like how good this woman's world champion was. And she's playing this, you know, like great grandmaster Vasil Ivanchuk. And it was this crazy Queen's Gambit accepted position. And I encourage people to look at that game because Hu Yifan made a lot of fans from that game. It was such an exciting fight between the two players.
I'll have to look at it. And speaking of exciting fights, look at the queen action here.
I was about to say, queen on a2. That's not as good looking as the queen on b7. And
no.
I like black's piece setup more than I like white's queen on a2. Yeah, if you go queen a1,
Hikaru's going queen a1. Yeah, he's going to
and then equalizing. Yeah, but you've always got to be aware of ideas of knight f2. Knight f2. Takes f2, bishop takes g2. So I've got two pawns. I know it looks kind of funky, but with the queen on a2, your queen's really out of the game. Whereas, you know, black is raiding, literally raiding on the king side.
Well,
again,
I'm knight back to d6 instead.
Yeah, because he was setting up ideas, I think, of bishop takes g2, again, these types of sacrifices. But I don't know if it was a missed opportunity. I'm just saying knight f2 would have definitely got my attention. Fedoseev, he was playing very, very quickly, not willing to fall too far behind on the clock.
Which I think is the right approach.
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem. You've got to pick your moments when you're going to spend that 30-second thing, right?
Right, and now another decision has to be made. Bishop e7, bishop f6. I think he's still playing this sacrifice. Hikaru probably takes his time to play queen a1. So I think Bladimir might want to respond f7, f6, but want that battery. And yeah, bishop a1 plus other orders. They're not good anyway.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Queen e2. played f6. Now, the strange part was that when you played the move f6, the usual idea is you want to follow it up ASAP with the move e5. So when you play f6 and e5, you kill the bishop on a1. But he didn't do it. He did not do that.
Yeah, here, I mean, the bishop would get really loose as Fedoseev drops to below a minute. This is classic Hikaru. Position is equal objectively, Vassar, but it almost feels like you're getting outplayed. That's what it feels like to play Hikaru.
Yeah, and especially this back and forth weaving with the knight makes a strange impression, knight to e4. But the good news about knight e4 is it defended f6. Very important. Very important.
Too. Cat and mouse action here, and Fedoseev drops it back to d6. Now his queen is on e7, so he doesn't have to worry as much about the threats that queen g4 creates. It doesn't create any, but Hikaru plays it anyway, just to put more pressure on these e6 and f6 pawns.
So Hikaru basically is also protecting the c4 square, so that after knight c4, bishop c4, c4, he can recapture on c4 with the, I was going to say rook, then instantly came the queen, you know, like darn.
King f7. I mean, this looks very, very equal. And maybe one could argue that black is a tiny bit worse just because his structure is a little bit more flimsy, but with the pieces essentially all gone from the board, there's no firepower for white to exploit this. And as I say that, here's h4.
Yeah, bingo. I think you said it perfectly well. And the bishop on b2, do not think that that's like some great bishop putting a whoa.
I don't like that. I don't like that transformation. I think white gets a big attack here.
The double rook, the queen versus
Bladimir completely lost his mind here.
Wait a minute. King g6, rook d7, and you're trapped.
You got to give up the bishop now, and it's
no.
Oh,
he has missed rook d8. He missed rook d8. That's all there is to it. Bishop takes e3 was a mistake, and he has missed the power of rook to d8.
Overlooking. This is cool. The game not over yet, though. He's got some chances.
I think.
Or does he?
I think black should have played king g6, provoked the move rook to d7, and then sacrificed the bishop so that the rook would already be on the d7 square, and maybe there would be more finagling chances. Okay, here we check on why don't we check on that floor? Yeah, you mean king h3, king h1? We check on that floor.
Ooh. But now Fedoseev is taking a bunch of Hikaru's pawns,
and that's a very good thing. Never forget.
Whoa. Queen takes a4, here's another one.
Okay, is it time to play g3 and somehow bring the bishop back to f2, give the king a little coverage? h5. That's a completely different approach.
Hikaru. Bishop e3, he wanted to take h5 and he'll have queen h4.
Nice. Well, there's a lot of pawns. It should actually be easy to play for black, right? Because what do you do when you have a lot of pawns?
Gonna get mated.
You gotta push him, baby. How come that pawn isn't on the 8? Oh, he saw it. He saw the mate.
Unbelievable. How does he do it again and again and again? He won again.
Again, what can I say? Once more, we just got to tip our hat to Hikaru, and he held his nerve so well. Go back to that one position, because I am so curious, if you don't mind, Danny. The move when the queen was on a2 was knight f2. You know, because those types of sacrifices, you know, they're usually these very fleeting opportunities. Yes, it's knight f2, king f2, bishop g2.
Well, the issue here apparently is just knight f3.
Just knight f3.
Black's initiative evaporates here just because bishop f6 is a problem.
Bishop f6 is, I don't have time for any spectacular. There's nothing spectacular. Knight f3. What a cold. That's cold.
And this knight on c4 is also defending e3, which renders impossible moves like knight g4.
Yeah.
Wow. And
wow. Okay.
Nakamura is in the finals. with just another vintage. This is a vintage Hikaru display here. He's not playing any insane games. He's not winning in the opening, but he's playing good, solid chess. He's getting his opponent into the time pressure, and he dispatches Vladimir Fedoseev. Will he face